Everyone, my name is Stanley St. Rose. Today we're going to be talking about the short story The Telltale Heart, written by Edgar Allan Poe. Now, before I go into the summary and explanation of this novel, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or leave a comment. Um, and I'll be sure to talk to you guys in the comments down below, and we can talk about the more interesting parts about this short story. So, The Telltale Heart is quite interesting. I think to me, it really it's interesting and funny at the same time. We're introduced to this narrator, and he's telling us that he's about to murder somebody. He's working for this old man, and he's basically this caretaker for this old man. And before he kills the old man, he tells us that he doesn't really have anything against the old man. He doesn't want his money. He doesn't want his gold. He doesn't want anything. And it's not like that the old man is treating him horribly. The narrator tells us that he doesn't have any problems with the old man. The only reason why he says he's going to kill the old man in this short story is that he doesn't like that the old man has a vulture's eye, and so he plans to kill him at night. So at night, what he does is he kind of like slowly creeps in to kill the old man. He does this like for the first few nights. He just sticks his head in. He kind of like slowly tries to like feel out the situation, feel out the room. And one night when he figures out that the room is totally dark, nobody's gonna see him, the old man is not going to see him, he sneaks in with a lantern, and he thinks that the old man is asleep, but he's not really asleep. And he turns the lantern on a little bit, and the light literally lands on the old man's eye, and the eye is just staring him right then and there. And he kind of freaks out, and he can't take it anymore. He doesn't want to see that eye. He wants to kill the old man, so he goes over. He pulls the old man off the bed. He throws the bed on top of him, and then he just waits until the old man suffocates. And then he takes a bath to puts the old man's body, the dead body, in there, and just hacks him away. And then he buries the old man under the floorboards. So really horrific, really short. And then what happens is before he killed the old man did scream. And so after he's done killing the old man, he's done cleaning up and doing all of that. What happens is we find out that a neighbor called the cops, and the cops bang at his door, and they say that somebody reported that they heard screams. And he's very confident because he's already buried the body, he's already cleaned up. So he's like, "Yeah, come in, officers. There's really not that much of a problem here. There's no disturbance." He says that the old man is not home. He's in the country. He's far away. So there was really no disturbance. The scream that the neighbors heard probably was from me having a nightmare or something. So he tells the cops that. He puts the cops at ease, and the cops. He even he takes chairs. He sits the cops down. He sits with them, and they talk and they laugh, and they enjoy each other's company. So after after he's done murdering his employer, he invites the cops into the home of the person he's just murdered to talk and just socialize with them. And the whole time he's talking to these cops, the old man's body is underneath the floorboards of the house that they're talking in. And so while they're talking, his face kind of like grows pale, and he starts to hear this low drumming, this low, this rhythm going over and over, and he kind of starts to lose his mind, and he's just pacing back and forth, and the drumming becomes so loud in his head. Now the cops don't hear this drumming; they're still talking, they're still socializing with each other. He's the only one that kind of like hears this drumming, and he just can't take it anymore, and he confesses to his crime. He pulls up the floorboards, and he says, "Here's the body, here's where I buried him," and the story basically ends there. So that's the summary of the story. Let's talk about the analysis and the interesting parts. So one thing that I really liked about the story is that the whole thing is a story, a fictional story, but at the same time, it's an argument. I feel like the narrator throughout the whole entire story, he's trying to like convince the reader that he's not crazy. And the way he tries to prove that, he says that a person who is crazy shouldn't be as meticulous as him. A person who is crazy shouldn't be as thorough as him. And he's very thorough in the short story. He makes sure that the old man is asleep or should be asleep. He kind of creeps in slowly, and he tells us that he does this for 8 nights, 8 nights or more, that he kind of like slowly goes into the room. He checks for his environment. He looks at the room, how the old man sleeps, the best way for him to kill the old man. He thinks about who's going to hear. Even though that the neighbors heard the old man scream, he tried really hard not to allow the old man to make any noise. So he really thought about killing the old man. He really put the effort into it. And in the short story, he tries to say that if I was crazy, I wouldn't go to this much effort to try to kill this person. The fact that I'm going through high and low trying to kill this person shows you how smart I am, and by that fact, he claims that he should be considered as a person who is not crazy, which doesn't really prove that, because you can be crazy and still be smart. So the fact that he's trying to prove that um, his intelligence can disprove his craziness really doesn't stand, because there's a lot of people who are crazy and still smart. So that's the first thing that I find very interesting about this work, is that it's an argument. It's the narrator who, to me, is crazy, trying to convince the reader that he's not crazy by showing us that he's smart. So I think that's very, the whole story as a whole is very interesting, because it's a narrative plus an argument, or a person trying to prove a point, the narrator trying to prove a point. So that was very interesting to me. The other thing that that connects the story, the title of the story is Telltale Heart, and it really connects to the end of the story, because the beating that he was hearing at the end of the story kind of resembles a heart, and it got louder, and it's like, so that it was like a drum going, up every level every few seconds, and he's the only one hearing the drum going up a level every few seconds, and so it's the heart that drove him, that beating heart of the old man that was still beating after the narrator had hacked him to death. Um, you know, it wasn't really beating. I think it was more of the narrator going crazy, or probably feeling some type of remorse or regret for killing the old man. And his mind was trying to cope by confessing, and he hears the beating of the heart, and then he tears up the floorboards and reveals to the cops that he killed this old man. So that really connects the title Telltale Heart to the drumming at the end, with the heart that was supposedly beating to the narrator. Now, the narrator to me is not really credible. I'm pretty sure he's crazy, even though he's trying to say he's not crazy, because after all, he really did just kill an old man just because of his eyes. Yeah. So, so he's hearing heartbeats after he's killed somebody. He's killing people because their eyes are like eagle's eyes, or evil eyes. Uh, that's not really, it's not really what a sane person would do. So that's just my opinion of his mental health. So, very interesting story, very well put together. I like the whole argument within the story, and I like how the cops just come in and have, you know, food and socialize with a murderer. The short story is very short, not that long at all, and is very impactful. And it just kind of proves how literature can have multiple levels, and this short story really has multiple levels. We don't really know. Like, I personally believe that the narrator is crazy, but he tries to say otherwise. So you can decide what you think if you have read this, or if you're looking forward to reading it. Really good, really interesting, and at the same time, I wouldn't kill somebody because of their eyes. I don't know who would, but if you have an eagle eye, if you have a cat eyes, I'm just not gonna kill you. I might not look at you, but I'm not gonna kill you over it. So that's my take on this short story. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys in my next video.